and just walks out to the woods. He has a nice open fire here made of bricks, burning firewood, pot of rice, a nice plate of homemade beef stew with peas, olive oil, and the etceteras. And it's probably too bright for this to even pick up, so I don't know. But yeah, my little homemade fire pit out here where I cook my outdoor meals in the summer and early fall. Of course, it's getting too, come here, nasty, meow. Getting too, it's gonna be too chilly soon to do this, so I will be cooking on the wood stove indoors very soon. And yes, I do use propane as a backup. I have a four burner propane stove top that I use in emergency, you know. Otherwise, I rely on wood. And here is Nasty Meow. Nasty, yeah, and you see he's uncooperative. And he's also curious. Nasty, meow meow. Am I nasty? Nasty, yeah. He wants attention right now. He's not hungry. He has constant access to food, so I don't know what's going on with him. You're a good boy, yes. And this, right here, is my last surviving rooster. In fact, my last chicken right now. I got to get new hens. They've all been picked off. But miraculously, this guy has survived, where 2 other roosters and 10 hens have been picked off. And of course, Nasty wants attention. Nasty wants to be the center of attention, as always, right? Meow. Come on. Stop. Yeah, I know. All right. Good boy. All right. And that's it. That's how Mike eats out here in the wilderness. Yeah. Though every once in a while, I do enjoy a good pizza, though I am far outside the range of delivery places, so I got to go pick those up myself. Alright, so you guys want to see how Mike cooks in the summer? No, contrary to other opinions, he doesn't live in a fancy apartment and just walks out to the woods. He has a nice open fire here made of bricks, burning firewood, pot of rice, a nice plate of homemade beef stew with peas, olive oil, and the etceteras. And it's probably too bright for this to even pick up, so I don't know. But yeah, my little homemade fire pit out here where I cook my outdoor meals in the summer and early fall. Of course, it's getting too, come here, nasty, meow. Getting too, it's gonna be too chilly soon to do this, so I will be cooking on the wood stove indoors very soon. And yes, I do use propane as a backup. I have a four burner propane stove top that I use in emergency, you know. Otherwise, I rely on wood. And here is Nasty Meow. Nasty, yeah, and you see he's uncooperative. And he's also curious. Nasty, meow meow. Am I nasty? Nasty, yeah. He wants attention right now. He's not hungry. He has constant access to food, so I don't know what's going on with him. You're a good boy, yes. And this, right here, is my last surviving rooster. In fact, my last chicken right now. I got to get new hens. They've all been picked off. But miraculously, this guy has survived, where 2 other roosters and 10 hens have been picked off. And of course, Nasty wants attention. Nasty wants to be the center of attention, as always, right? Meow. Come on. Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Nibiru News Live. This, of course, is your faithful companion, Mike, manning the mic tonight, as usual. I just have an opening monologue I'd like to give, after which I will, of course, open the lines for callers, but please do not dial in until I say go. All right, I'd like a sound check from somebody before I continue. So if anyone in the room can give me an audio check, I would appreciate it. All right, the audio check is good to go. Man, what a day it's been. There's been so much going on in the world. I'm still sick, so my voice is a little hoarse. So bear with me. That's why I'm going to try and talk as little as I can tonight and hope some of you other people out there will have a lot to say. I'm boiling some water now for some tea with honey. Anyway, Irma. Irma has once again shifted west after 10 days of bad predictions, having it seesawing back and forth to either side of the Florida peninsula. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow's track moves it further west and Irma ends up crashing into the Panhandle or somewhere in Louisiana. I mean, what kind of sick irony would it be if all these people from Miami north fled to the Panhandle, which many have because that is the only place people could find hotel rooms, only to find out that Irma has moved and is now going to hit Tallahassee. And they can't get back home because the highways are too crowded or contraflow has been initiated. That would truly be, pardon my French, a world of fuckery. Sorry. It's always been my contention that these forecasting agencies intentionally produce inaccurate forecasts to boost ratings and to keep people in a constant state of fear and anxiety. That, my friends, is exactly what seems to be happening at this very moment. As it stands, Irma is still packing 155-mile-an-hour winds, and some say it will strengthen to Cat 5 again before walloping the Florida Keys early Sunday morning. Where it goes from there, who knows? Much like Harvey, I have relatives in Florida, an aunt in Naples who stubbornly refused to leave, and a niece who lives in the Miami area, relocated to the western side of the state, and probably is now stuck there to bear the brunt of this storm. Then we have a strengthening Jose right behind Irma, right now a Category 4. While most forecasters right now anticipate it to weaken and spin back out into the ocean before nearing the coastal United States, I'm not taking anything they say at face value, especially after the botched job they've done at forecasting and predicting Irma's ultimate destination. Then, of course, we know, as we all know, tragedy struck Mexico today. An 8.2 quake devastated parts of it. 5,000 homes were destroyed and at least 36. And when they say 36, you know the body count is going to be a lot higher. People were killed in the city of Zaragoza. And then we have the massive CME that struck our atmosphere. And I understand it created a very nice aurora borealis for people in some parts of the country. If you saw that, fantastic. But my question is, could this CME have served as a catalyst for the quake? Can it influence the storms? Is it possible that all of these events are interconnected? Could the presence of a brown dwarf star and several orbiting planets nearing our solar system interacting with our sun be triggering a powerful solar flare, and that solar flare then affects us? I believe that these events there is a correlation between these events. That's what I say. What say you? Anyway, I hope everyone out there is doing safe tonight. Like I said, I'm going to keep my talking to a minimum. I'm going to put my headset on right now. And I hope you enjoyed the little nasty meow pre-show along with me cooking dinner tonight. All right. And let's go ahead. 78 watching. I'm sure somebody has something to say. If you want to dial in, I would like to hear from you. The phone number is 518-304-7790. Or if you have a Skype, you can add my contact info, which is printed at the bottom of the screen, to your Skype and dial me that way. And I would be happy to chat with you. And while I'm waiting for a call, I do want to say that over the last year and a half, I have... I'll continue my thought after this. Hi, and thanks. This is Mike with Nibiru News. You are live on the air. May I have your first name, please?
My name is Forrest.
Forrest. And Forrest, where are you from? General area.
I'm from Ohio.
From Ohio. A first-time caller?
Yeah.
Fantastic. What's on your mind tonight, Forrest?
Well, you know, I've been watching you and listening to you for several months now, and I've grown to really respect and honor your live broadcast. I love it.
Thank you very much. We all appreciate that.
Yeah. One of the things I'm going to talk about tonight, if you don't mind, is Chloe, and Jacqueline X has asked me to give them a little bit of a rundown on my going down to Klingman's Dome and watching the eclipse. And they basically wanted to know not so much the eclipse, but what I seen going on around me. And that's why I called in.
Well, I would like to hear too, so please share your information with us.
Well, what I seen was a lot of people were doing some really strange things. There was like cults down there, religious cults. They weren't allowed to go up into the mountains because they were busing people up into the mountains. But the people that were in the cities there of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, they were actually holding up dead babies, hoping that they could be healed at this moment. So that was very strange. Very strange.
So what did you make of all of it?
Well, it was mind-boggling. The eclipse itself was boring compared to what I seen happening.
Well, there definitely are cults out there, for lack of a better word, that worship things like an eclipse. So really, nothing surprises me.
Yeah, they were hoping that the eclipse would bring their babies back to life. Yeah, that kind of thing. But,
very, very weird. But you know,
yeah.
I mean, that's weird. But you know, a lot of people think that anybody who believes Nibiru is real is weird. So there are different degrees of weirdness. But if they believe that babies, that eclipse is going to bring people back to life, unfortunately, I would say that they are sadly mistaken. That's my opinion.
But I have to agree with you. But you know what? What's crazy is that just happened a few weeks ago, but we have just gone so fast into so many other things. You know, like the earthquakes in Mexico.
Yeah, it's very sad.
And we've got the hurricanes in Florida. I mean, there's just so much going on. That's almost old news, the eclipse, isn't it?
It's old. It is old news now. You know how the news goes. What's popular in the news one day is ancient history the next day.
Yeah, I have a daughter that lives in Tarpon Springs. I just talked to my son-in-law, and they're going to try to wait it out, even with the storm surges. And they're really concerned, but they can't make it out there because there's no gas. There's no gas to buy to get out there.
Right.
You know, wild. Oh, man.
And not only is there no gas, unless you have a friend or a relative somewhere nearby where you could stay, there are no hotel rooms left in Florida.
Right, exactly. And he told me they were going to go ahead and shut the electric off tomorrow because they're worried about people getting electrocuted when the tides come in. And in Tarpon Springs, the tide is supposed to match up with the high tide and the full moon. So it's like a perfect storm for them. Isn't that crazy? That's just crazy.
It is crazy, and like you said, there is a lot going on in the world that defies conventional explanation.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I will say this. A lot of people call in, they say the government's steering these hurricanes and everything. I don't think so. I'll tell you why I don't think so. This is just my personal opinion, Mike, but we're experiencing a planetary solar system that's coming into our solar system that's affecting everything on the Earth. And for people to think that the stupid government can actually steer a hurricane into wherever they want to, I have to disagree with that. This is all an effect of,
I mean, I believe that the technology exists myself. However, I don't believe that it is responsible for creating these storms, at least not in whole. I have come by new information on HAARP that I don't want to talk about tonight, suggesting an entirely different purpose. That's something I'll cover in the coming days. But, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, but Nibiru is having such a cataclysmic pull on this Earth as far as our magnetosphere. There's no way that the governments are controlling this stuff. I'll tell you who's controlling this stuff, or what is. There's this solar system that's coming in. Yep. And that's just what I think, and I don't care what people think. That's what I think.
And we're all entitled to our opinions, and that's the wonderful thing about this. And what a lot of people don't realize is that we don't have to agree on every point. We only have to acknowledge collectively that something wrong is going on, and that events are trying to be concealed from us.
Exactly, and I love your channel because it allows people like me, which, by the way, I have problems with calling in because I'm a little bit shy. But I will tell you this: when you look at the things that are happening on this Earth, you have to realize that there's something going on that ain't right, and you have to do your research. And I'm probably like you, Mike. I spend probably at least 4 hours a day researching what's going on, and because we care about what's going on, and when I say things, I ain't saying it out of the top of my hat. I'm saying things out of research, and so are you. When you say things, it's because of research. And for people to chime in and say, well, we're full of crap, they just don't realize that they need to do a little bit of research.
All right. Anything else you wanted to add tonight?
So that's all I was saying. I'm glad you listened to me. And
all right. Well, I appreciate you calling in for us, and I hope you have a good evening. And I wish the best for any of your family that happens to be in the impact zone. Thank you for calling in tonight.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And like I said, we don't all have to agree on every single point to get along. No two people do. Phone line is open, 518-304-7790. Or Skype address at the bottom of the screen. Somebody tried to call in while Forrest was on the line, so if you want to dial back, see, it happens just like that. Good evening, and thank you for dialing in. This is Michael. You are on Nibiru News Live. May I have your first name, please?
Hey, how you doing? This is Cape Man, and I'm in Southwest Florida.
Say your name again.
Cape Man.
Cape Man. Okay, it's a handle.
Florida.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you're in Southwest Florida. Fantastic to hear from you, but not so fantastic for you. What's going on?
It was pretty quiet here today. I was in and out of Walmart. It was eerie quiet in Walmart. I live in a place, Cape Coral, and it's 3 hours north of Miami, 2 hours south of Tampa.
Right.
And it's been really, really quiet here. It's eerie because during the day, you usually hear mowers buzzing and all that. But it was just so quiet. Nobody's on the street. Nobody's driving. I don't know where the heck the people are. I know they're out there somewhere.
Okay. Has there been an evacuation issued for your area?
About a mile down from my house, it's under evacuation.
So basically, how far off the coast are you?
Oh, I've got the water right in my backyard. I'm on everything here. Basically, most of the homes here are on canals. So it's like Venice, Italy here. It's over 400 miles of canal in this city.
Oh.
So, but it's the water. In other words, like the Gulf of Mexico is maybe a 5-minute drive from the house.
Well, you're right in the thick of it then. At least if the current forecast model holds that this storm continues tracking west, and rolls up somewhere along the Western Peninsula. So, are you just gonna ride it out?
I'm gonna ride it out. You know, I'm praying hard, of course, that somehow, some way, this thing's gonna move over. But you know, if it moves over from us, it's only gonna destroy somebody else's home. My home is pretty new. I put up hurricane shutters. Tomorrow, I'll finish working on the rest of the house and putting up shutters. I think my house is good for hurricane category 4. I just got to walk around the property and make sure there aren't any loose pots or anything out there. But, you know, we're in a city where there are older homes, and if those homes fall apart, you know, we're going to have, especially if they're saying 200-mile-an-hour winds, we're going to have a lot of debris flying around here in Cape Coral. So either way, it's going to be kind of a crapshoot. There's nowhere to go. There's no gas. So where are you going to evacuate to? To the highway? I was just looking at YouTube before I called you, and I'm reading people's postings, and they're saying, I'm on the 75. I have no gas, no food, no water.
Horrible.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to live on the 75 like that. So I'm not gonna. I'll stay home. I'll just take my chances. We'll pray for the best. And if something happens, maybe we can help somebody else, or somebody can help us. We're pretty good here. My wife, my son, we're here. My son is 22, so I'm not too worried about it. He's okay as long as we got electricity. So who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow? You know.
Yeah, and this forecast has been so erratic. We really don't know until the time actually comes when it makes landfall where it's gonna wind up.
Yeah, it's gonna be. This is a real big crapshoot. Who knows? You know, and I'm looking at videos, and I'm looking at St. Martin. We cruise a lot out of this area, so we're actually supposed to be in Cuba on Thursday. So I'm thinking, you know, we're not going to get on the ship on Wednesday to go anywhere. We're supposed to leave out of Tampa. That's if there's going to be a port left in Tampa. So who knows?
I hope that isn't the case.
I hope so. You know, because there's a lot of innocent people out there. I don't know. I know, Mike, you don't agree. I really think the government has something to do with this. Maybe they can't create the storm itself, but maybe they can steer the storm in the direction they need it to go. I don't want to sound like a nutcase saying this, but I really think it's
You're not a nut. It's not a nutcase thing to say. There are many people who agree with you, and like I said, I believe the technology exists to manifest weather phenomena, intensify existing weather. I just have different opinions on how that technology is being used right now.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, I seen this morning. I like to do yoga out on the back lanai, and I noticed. You know, I always hear everybody's always talking about the chemtrails, and I believe that they exist. I see them crisscross the sky, especially a few weeks ago when the what is that silly, what they claim was an eclipse took place. Right. I saw this perfect line and then clouds behind it. I should have took a picture of it because nobody would believe it. It was coming from down up, and it was just perfect. So there was blue sky behind it, and then where you see that perfect line from the airplane, the rest was gray. So I says, I wonder why they're seeding the sky today. I thought they would wait till the storm gets a little closer, but whatever. But hopefully, like I said, the other people in this area, I hope they, if they can make it through, beautiful. I tell you, the only reason why I think the government is against, some of the people, especially with the economy, the way it's going. Listen, I was down at the towers when they fell, and when I saw tower number 7 fall, I said, well, nothing hit tower number 7. It looked pretty good.
Well, we all know that was intentionally brought down. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
No, but I mean, they told us when to run, so I always, it just didn't faze me when it happened. But 2 years later, you know, you sit back and you think about things and you go, how did that happen? How did they know when to tell us? I hate to sound like an idiot, but, you know, sometimes it takes time for things because you're in shock for weeks, for days.
Right. The information has to register before you can form any cognizant opinions about it. Definitely.
Exactly. And I was always afraid to talk about something like that because, you know, people look at you and they, oh, you're an idiot. What do you know? I mean, I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. But, you know, like I said, I hate to, you know, beat a dead horse, but I really think maybe this government does have the technology to actually train this thing into which direction they want it to go. But anyway, I think I've said enough. You know, like I said, hopefully everybody else makes it through. Thank you so much for having this channel. I listen to you all the time. I'm a first-time caller, and this won't be the last.
All right. Well, I appreciate you dialing in, Cape Man, and we'll be praying for you. You stay safe, and do me a favor if you can. After the storm passes, do call back. Let us know how you fared, please.
Absolutely. I most certainly will. I'm going to be... when's your next show, by the way?
I do the shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I will probably be streaming whatever time and day this makes landfall. You, of course, if you lose power, you won't be able to dial in, but at the next available opportunity, please do.
Yeah, I'll try dialing in. I'll see if I have internet tomorrow because I know it's supposed to hit my area by 8 p.m. So I'll try to give you guys a call if you're online. I'll check it out.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Stay safe, and we'll all be praying for you. Thank you.
Thanks. Great. Bye-bye.
Some people right now, they have no option to relocate if they haven't. I'm surprised that his area is not under a mandatory evacuation if he is that close to the coast, and the new predictions are now showing this will sweep up the Western Peninsula after obliterating, unfortunately that looks like what's going to happen, the Keys. So hopefully nobody stayed in the Keys. All right, let me see, I got a call coming in. We'll grab it. Thank you for Thank you for calling in. This is Mike. You are live on Nibiru News. May I have your first name, please?
Yeah, my first name's Terry, Michael.
Terry, thank you. Where are you from, Terry?
I live in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, thank you.
A little town called Stigler.
What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I just wanted to say that I'm with you. Unlike the other two callers before me, I do believe the technology is out there that the powers that be use that technology to enhance weather patterns and other stuff with the HAARP system. But I was thinking about. I've done a lot of research on Nibiru and how it's approaching behind the sun and everything, and with the sun simulator that's going on up there, where they try to block out as much of it as they can. I've noticed here in Oklahoma, where I live, that the sky will be completely clear up until right around the time the sun's supposed to set, and then there's all these chemtrails where the sun is sitting to block out anybody seeing that system coming in at us. But I also looked at a couple more things on the internet. I don't know if you've read anything up on the September 23rd planetary alignment thing that has to do with Revelations 12.
Yeah, I've said many times that I do not adhere to that. I think we'll all be fine on September 24th.
Yeah, well, I believe that too. But just one scenario though. Everything that's going on over with North Korea and China and South Korea and all that. And I myself believe that if this system is coming in and it's going to do what they say it's going to do with this debris tail, once it circles us and causes the pole shift to happen, and that debris field, I think that this is just a smoke screen. The World War III, I think it's just a smoke screen, because I think that they're going to try to blow a lot of this stuff out of the sky before it actually impacts the earth to try to save some people, as much as I hate to say that. But they can't really come out and tell everybody what's going on in the world for real, otherwise it'd be pandemonium. and the economical system would shut down.
You're absolutely correct there. There's no doubt there would be an immediate societal breakdown if they were to go public with the information.
So I kind of want to get your take on this on the system, and what do you think the time frame is? I know nobody knows for sure, but I know you've been doing a lot of research, and I kind of follow you a little bit on YouTube, and I'm just wondering what your take is on the whole system coming in and really doing cataclysmic damage.
I believe that it exists. I believe it is drawing nearer to us. I believe it is a brown dwarf star with 7 orbiting planets. When will it get here? I haven't the foggiest clue. The reason I say this is because primarily I communicate with 3 sources, all of whom are astronomers, one who is American, one who is European, and one who is Russian. And all 3 of them have provided me, although I believe them to be who they say they are because I have seen credentials, so they've established their identity to me to the best of their ability, but each has conflicting information regarding arrival dates for the system, ranging anywhere from 2019 to 2055. So I don't like to give dates, because what happens is if I spit out a date, that date comes and passes, and then people come and they say, "Well, Mike, what happened about that date?" So for that reason, I don't.
Well, I think a lot of that too is what you're talking about there. I think there's a lot of people that work against the people that's trying to get the truth out there. That's working for the powers that be.
Yes.
That come on YouTube and give out false information, and then people go, "Well, it's just another false flag." It's kind of like a little boy that cried wolf. You tell somebody something so many times, and eventually they quit believing it. And then when the real deal happens, they're like, "Oh, well, it's just another lie."
Oh, exactly. The government is happy to spread disinformation and allow that disinformation to propagate across the internet. They encourage that. Not only do they encourage that, they're involved in that.
Well, I just hope we'll all be okay, and you know what? You keep doing what you're doing, brother, and I'm going to keep following it, too.
All right. Well, I appreciate you dialing in tonight, and I hope you have a good evening. Thanks a lot, and stay safe out there in Ohio.
All right, brother.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see if we have anyone else dialing in today. Yes, the phone is ringing. Hi, this is Mike. You are live on Nibiru News. May I have your first name, please?
Oh, shit. Must be a little delayed when listening on YouTube. What's up, Mike? My name's Adam. I live outside Philly in Pennsylvania.
Hey, Adam, just do me a favor. If you do have your broadcast on in the background, could you turn it down so it doesn't feed back on the channel? And yeah, there is a little bit of a delay.
Oh, yeah, I paused it already. But first, just let me say, for you to do this, take calls live, that's really cool, man. I'm watching the channel for a while now, and it's the first live show I dropped in. I always saw the recommendation pop up, like my notification, but just never dropped in one yet. But just really cool for you to do this.
Well,
so I'd like to say thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for tuning in and joining in tonight.
Oh, no problem. So, first off, just everybody shoot up a prayer to their higher power for all those affected and to be affected by this vicious storm. It's just horrible. So, just wanted to say that. And so I guess I'll just get into it. Number one, I'm not saying I believe in Nibiru or I don't believe in Nibiru. So sometimes, I just like to research and watch this stuff and look at it. It's cool to have an open mind.
Sure.
A lot of things that I've looked at have showed that if this system were as close as a lot of people think it is, or it was even coming into our solar system, it would affect a lot of planetary movements and orbits that, because another system like that's coming in, the way that affects gravity and the pull and everything, all those bodies. So what is your take on that? And I'm just curious.
My take is that it is already influencing our planet and our atmosphere and our climate.
Well, no, I know that. And it does seem like there's a lot of, earthquakes and just a lot of these storms back to back. But I'm saying, I know you feel that it's affected the stuff on the planet right now, but I'm asking that the changed orbits and other planets that would already be affected if a system like that were coming into our system, the way that it would affect the movement of other planets. Do you believe in that, or how would you, you know?
Personally, I do. And there are those out there who argue that the planet, including our planet, is already being perturbed by the presence of the Nemesis system out there. Even though it is a distance, my belief is that it is somewhere about 300 to 400 million miles off. But even at that distance, it interacts with our sun and is able to, unfortunately, alter our climate. And I think that it's possible that we are being perturbed. There are people that report that their compasses have deviated, no longer accurately showed magnetic north or true north. So there's a lot of things, and I'm still up in the air on many aspects of this, but I believe that ultimately we are going to be affected severely by it. Whether or not that happens today, tomorrow, or 38 years from now, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I understand you can't make predictions, and I want to ask you to do that because, you know, it's one of those things
I'm a lousy prophet, so you wouldn't want a prediction from me.
It's one of those things where it's just hard for us to even comprehend in our minds. We have nothing to measure it to, you know, like one astronomical unit. What do you even have in your mind to compare that to? A lot of times it's hard to get it all wrapped around your brain and like how far away something seems when it's in space, just much further than anything we can even comprehend.
Right,
so what's your take? Go ahead.
Oh, repeat the question. I didn't understand the question.
Oh, no. I was just making that statement, and then I was going to ask you a question, but you sounded like you were going to say something, so...
No, go ahead, please.
So, and do you believe in... have you ever... I always forget the guy's name. Have you ever listened to the one... I'm sure you've seen the video, of course, where the guy says that he's this, like... I always forget his name. This ex-CIA guy who's got buddies, and it was this video from, like, the 90s.
Steve Zenik?
Yeah, like this guy standing up there talking to these people, and he's telling them they've been watching it for years, and it's got so many, like, you know, asteroids and comets and everything that it pulls behind it because of the gravity wall.
You're talking about Bob Dean?
Bigger guy. I always forget his name.
Bob Dean.
Yeah. He got killed, like, weird, suspiciously in his home, some people say. You know, he died. And so, I'm just curious on your take with all the, like, comets and, you know, asteroids and things that it would pull behind it. Is there any way, what do you feel if this did happen, the survivability rate of us is, and the best way to go about surviving something like that if it were to happen?
Well, the best way to survive, I don't know. As I've always said, I am where I am, and whatever happens, I'm going to hunker down and try and weather it at my location. I am not going to relocate because I believe that if the crap hits the fan, like some say it will, that we're all going to be in this together no matter where you are in the country, no matter where you are in the planet. And yes, I do believe, as communicated to me by a source, Dr. Diamond Zakharovich, a Russian astronomer, that there are tons of asteroids, micrometeorites associated with this system, and they will likely pummel the planet to putty when this ultimately happens.
Wow. I mean, just to wrap your mind around that is just, it's tough. And I just urge people to always watch videos that, you know, not change what you think, but watch videos that don't go with what you like. Watch Nibiru, for instance. Watch videos of guys like Mike, you know, Nibiru videos. He's giving you what he believes to be the most accurate information as he can, or watch somebody that might not believe in it, because you always want to listen to everything that everybody says, because sometimes...
Yeah, and that is an admonition that I give people that I learned from the late great patriot William Cooper, and this phrase was, listen to everything, read everything, but believe nothing until you can verify it for yourself.
I love it, Mike. Well, yeah, because sometimes when we research, people research and they've already made up their mind. So when they're researching, they're doing biased research that they think is great research, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you get so believing in something, you tend to only watch things that go with what you like, and if you see anything that doesn't, you ultimately just shut it off very quickly and don't even want to hear what they have to say. And to me, that's getting stuck in the research rabbit hole, and I always tell people not to do something like that. And I urge them to watch everything, that they can and just absorb it, because I think that there's so much information. Thanks, Mike. It's been great talking to you, and I really appreciate you taking my call, and I look forward to other live shows.
Likewise. You have a great evening, and thank you for calling in tonight.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.
All right, we're getting quite a few first-time callers tonight. Let me see if the phone is ringing. The phone is not ringing, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. I know it's been ringing off the hook a couple times while I'm talking to the callers. Here we go. Hi, good evening. You are live on Nibiru News. May I have your first name, please?
What's up, Mike? This is Daryl. We've talked a couple times from Missouri.
Daryl from Missouri. I remember your voice. How can we? What's on your mind tonight?
Well, a couple of things. I'm hearing your people. They're asking questions. Hang on. Let me turn my volume down. All right. So I hear people asking you on the location of the Nibiru system. First things first is everybody needs to realize that this thing is huge. It's spread out very largely. It's not a small group of planets. And Nibiru is the outermost orbiting planet of that system. All right? And if you believe anything that any scientist says about it being, 10 years, 20 years away, they're lying to you. And keep in mind, these are the same people that have known about this since 1983 and have hid it from us until our own amateur astrologists started finding it. Now, just for a minute, I'm going to go biblical on you. The Revelations 12 setup with Virgo, that's happening in my backyard. I can walk outside right now and look at it. All right, Jupiter's like in my backyard. Nibiru is coming from the southeast to the southwest on a 20-degree elliptical compared to our elliptic. And it's going through space like a worm, up and down, up and down. And it's on a crash course with Jupiter. Now, in our skies, if people pay attention, there's a milky white one that does not move with the clouds. Okay? You'll see a white shadow, a milky white shadow that does not move with the chemtrails. Now, here in my area, every night, they spray in the southeast, because if they didn't, you would see an extra bright star coming from the southeast. That thing is heading straight for Jupiter. You can see this on Stellarium. So tell your viewers, look up, use your Stellarium star charts. And you will see this thing. It's coming in and it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, the people that have known about this since 1983, here's a piece of history that I want to get out to everybody, and you can use the internet to find this. 1862, Luciferian doctrine adopted by a stage 33 Mason. I do not recall his name, but you will find this letter. It used to be kept in the Library of Congress. It's since been removed, but it has recently resurfaced. It explains how they operated World War I, World War II, and how they plan on working World War III into the mix. And Nibiru and all of this is all part of it. The Vatican has known about Nibiru since 1639. And we know that the first telescopes were made and put together in 1605. You've got to use a little bit of history here. It's an interesting subject. It's an intriguing subject. But Nemesis, Arboda, and the other one, I can never remember its name. Them are the ones that are close to us. The Milky White one is the one that I think the Bible calls wormwood. Is any of this making any sense to you?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff that you're talking about, I believe. Some of it I disagree with.
Well, I heard you say a few minutes ago that you think the Nibiru system is like 20 or 30 or some miles away. You said like 2055 or something.
I did not say I believe that. I said I've been given information by 3 sources, and their dates vary between 2019 and 2055.
Okay, well now think about it. If it was that far out, it wouldn't even show up. They wouldn't be doing this chemtrailing if it was that far out. Am I true? Am I right there?
Anything is possible.
But think about it. If that thing, say it had a 2042 arrival date, all right, they're not going to be spraying right now because you're not even going to see it as a star. If you spot it with a tube telescope, you're going to barely even see it light up. So there's no way that it can be that far out, especially with the North Star being 5 degrees off to the east, which is exactly the area it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Have you confirmed that? Because you can confirm that. Our North Star is 5 degrees off to the east from where it's supposed to be. So there's no way that it can be that far out and already be having magnetic pull. You know what I'm saying? There's just absolutely no mathematical way that that's happening. And you have to keep in mind, any scientist who may be of any national origin, all right, they're all silenced by their government. They're allowed to speak about it, but they can only say, and it's consistent, whether it's Russian, whether it's American, whether it's Swedish, they all are consistent with their same lie that it's far enough away, we ain't got to worry about it. Well, Jupiter is not that far away. And you hear all of them, the one consistent piece of truth that all of them say is that it's out by Mars and Jupiter. Well, that is part truth and part lie. That is part truth and part lie. It's one of them is going to hit Jupiter on its way around, and that's Nibiru. And it's already crossed our plane once. That's why we have red in our sunrises and our sunsets. We are already passing through its dust from its first pass around the sun. It's on the other side of the sun, dude. It's coming at us. Why do you think we have all these problems?
Oh yeah, if you don't mind, the callers are saying they can hear the feedback in the background.
My bad. Hang on, let me get out of the room. My wife's trying to watch it all at the same time. Okay, so all right, is that better?
Much better. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. So, you know, when you think about where the information is coming from, this is from the same people that have been hiding this thing since 1983. They've known about it. They've been building their underground cities to save their Luciferian butts, but they've hid it from us. And then when they do have the gall amongst themselves to actually spill some information, then it's limited, it's minimal, and it's incorrect. It's incorrect. If people would just download their star charts, they can use the star charts and figure out where this thing is. But the ones that are close to us, that people are getting pictures of, Mike, you've seen the twin sunsets, you've seen them photos. There ain't no way that thing is going to get here in 2055 if it's right next to the sun.
Right. And I'm not saying it will be here in 2055.
Well, I'm arguing that not to you,
right,
but to any person that might say some ridiculous number like that, because the sun is not that far away from us at all, really. I mean, we're the third rock from the sun. The sun is not that far away, and if the thing is already between us and the sun, which it is, because that's the only possible way that we can have red in our sunsets and our sunrises. That means we are surrounded by it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no other explanation. Now, if we only had it in our sunsets, then it would be in a specific position. Or if we only had it in our sunrises, it would be in a specific position. But we have them in both, which means that red dust is between us and the sun because the object giving it off is in the same place. And anybody that's followed this knows that it came in out of the south, went around the sun, and it's looping the sun. It's straight up looping the sun. And if you use Stellarium and you find out the location of Jupiter right now, you will see that Nibiru is on a crash course with that thing. And then after it collides, now see, this is even in the Bible, but I know that you have a lot of anti-Christ people that watch this, so I don't want to go into that and offend anybody.
I wouldn't say that. I would say the majority of our listening audience is Christian. I happen to be the one who doesn't adhere to biblical teachings. I believe in God, but that's about the extent of my religious knowledge.
Well, in order to believe in him, you have to understand him. But, you know, I will cover a little bit of it. There's a spot in Genesis 3 where God is going off on Adam and Eve after they ate the fruit. And he tells Eve, he says, or he looks at the serpent and he says, for all the days of your life you will crawl on your belly and eat dust. And I will put enmity between you and the woman and your seed.
No disrespect, but we don't need a biblical passage. Everybody has access to a Bible and can look this up for themselves.
So Genesis 3 to anybody that's listening. Genesis 3. That's where it talks about Jupiter.
Yeah, we've been on for about 10 minutes now. I do appreciate your calling in. I do respect your opinion and your argument. Much of it I agree with. Some I don't, but we have a very intelligent listening audience, and everyone can make up their own mind and see and look that information up. And I'm going to check the information too, and I appreciate it.
All right, brother. That's the whole point. Just spreading the info. That's my job. Take care.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right. And let's see, anyone calling in here? Okay, the lines are open. 518-304-7790 or Skype address at the bottom of the screen. I know somebody will want to call in here. The phone's been ringing. There we go. Hi, thank you for calling in. Could you please turn down your broadcast in the back?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. May I have your name and your location, general location, if you don't mind?
Yes, this is Jeanette C. I'm in Hudson Valley.
You're a few hours distance from me. And what's on your mind tonight, Jeanette?
Basically, I just was going to talk about Nibiru, but there was another theory about Nibiru being a dimensional solar system. Basically, because I was getting this information from some of the sources that are psychics, and they were giving me information based on their contacts. Basically, because they work in frequencies, they believe that this Nibiru might be a dimensional solar system, which could still be affecting us. It may not be seen directly for that purpose. I don't know. It's just a theory. The other option was that they were talking also about November 4th being the day where it might be seen, because there are two things happening in the world. Vladimir Putin will be speaking that day on Unity Day to the Russian people.
I am the one who put that information out.
Oh, that might have been one. Okay.
I am the original source of that information. Anybody else you heard that from?
That might have been from you.
Yeah, copied it from my articles. But yes, I did. I have received information about 2 months ago that will happen. Now, I am not personally saying that is going to happen. I'm up in the air.
That's right.
With it as everything. But if I believe that if disclosure is going to come, it will come from overseas and not from anyone in our government. Continue. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, that's fine. And the other option, the reason I thought that theory might be correct is also because there seems to be an Antifa planned protest set up by Soros as a distraction for that particular day on November 4th.
Interesting.
So I thought the two coordinated in that sense. And that's all I have to say.
Oh. So my question is, if Nibiru is in another dimension, I mean, I guess space-time. I don't understand quantum mechanics, so that's way over my head. I'm willing to accept any theory as a possibility, but very interesting. I'm pretty sure I might have heard something similar to that before, but I can't remember all the details. But I thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No, that is it.
All right. Well, Jeanette, you have a very nice evening, and thank you for dialing in.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. I think that was a first-time caller. I don't remember hearing from Jeanette before, but then again, my memory is not what it used to be. 518-304-7790. Hi, good evening. You are live on Nibiru News. This is Mike. May I have your first name and general location, please?
Yeah, it's Barbara in Wyoming.
Hi, Barbara. Have you called in before?
No, I haven't.
You haven't. First-time caller.
Actually, well, yeah, it's great to talk to you. Usually I call in. I don't, not to just you, anybody. I never get in. But anyway, I'm just basically hearing and learning about this. I'm like 59 years old. And so it's like this is all new. I've kind of been absorbed in it for like the last week, just scanning YouTube, hearing just a plethora of stuff, so much so I'm kind of seeming overwhelmed. But what I've been hearing about the Nibiru thing is mainly this, that a lot of people are saying that they don't believe that it's really going to affect us that much. But from what I understand is that Nibiru has a large magnetic core. And supposedly when it's coming in, its southern pole is going to be tipping towards our northern pole. And as it comes closer, it's just kind of like going to grab us and just like flip us. And it has anywhere from, they said, like 10 million to 25 million miles of debris behind it, having gone through the Kuiper Belt and all of this, and it's just because of its magnetic core, it's just pulling in all of this stuff. And it has just a huge magnetosphere around it. Not only is it trailing the debris behind it, but because of the makeup of the planet being mainly iron, it's an iron-nickel core, but that's why the reason is for the red dust, which kind of makes sense. Iron, when it rusts and is out there in the elements, even though in space, it develops a dust. So it's like, and people who are saying, well, how can that affect us? Well, you think of something that has a 10 or 25 million mile tail behind it, and it's carrying asteroids and just junk, rocks, anything from as small as a car to as large or larger than a football field, as large as like the state of Rhode Island. And they don't think that that's possible, that we could be flying through any of this, even though we're not even going to be anywhere near the planet. But it's going to be so much crap, literally, around it, that there's no way, even if it takes it, 10 years to get here, it's going to take us, not just a day. It's not going to be a day that we go through this. And because as we're moving, we're going through it. And supposedly it's on a different rotational scale or velocity or directional rotation than what we're at.
And I agree with everything you said, and every single point that you have made right now, even including the one about this being overwhelming, because this is an overwhelming topic, and it overwhelms me so much sometimes that I have to take a step back and take a break. But everything that you have laid out, point by point, just now, is information that has been corroborated by the scientific sources that I extract my information from. So you've obviously done some good research, because a lot of this I definitely believe. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. But I mean, it's not just I'm not just overwhelmed with Nibiru. It's other things too that I've been listening to, but they all kind of correlate. And some of it's religious, some of it's biblical, some of it's archaeological, where it's been here before, and because of everybody's saying that it's on this great elliptical scale, and it comes elliptical loop that is actually coming in above us, but when it's coming around the sun, it starts to drop. So it's lowering below the sun. It's going to come up pretty much on the underside of the sun, and then it's going to come up. And when it starts coming up is eventually when we're supposed to see it. Well, and there's people who are saying, prepare, and I'm all in for being prepared. But in the area that I live, I don't live close enough to Yellowstone that I would be immediately affected, but I do live close enough to, like, a river. I live, and there's a dam like 20 miles, or several dams within 50 miles of my house, and the river is literally 2 blocks away from my house. So I know if it starts pulling things and throwing water around, here is not a good place. You know, I live by a mountain, so I mean, I could go in the mountain, but then you also think we also have fault lines around here, and we're not in a fracture zone, so, you know, where they've been fracking, so we don't really have that to worry about. But we've had a few earthquakes here, and like I said, we're several hundred miles away from Yellowstone, but there's still fault lines that go through our state. And it's like, well, yeah, you can go north, and it's supposedly a safe zone, but you get up there, and then you get into the Yellowstone if it goes off. So, I mean, we've got the potential where I live at right now for flooding, for earthquakes, you know, and to eventually be impacted by Yellowstone. So it's like, well, how do you prepare for something like this? Where do you go? And it's like, and it's, the point of it is how can you survive if all, but like I said, I'm like 59 years old, and I've pretty much been living in the dark. I have a few survival skills. I mean, like, I know I can take the lint out of my dryer and start a fire, you know. So it's just, it's like, well, really the only thing you can kind of do is like some of the people in Florida, you kind of, you know your limitations to...
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm listening.
You kind of broke off for a second. Oh, I wasn't interrupting you. Continue. Okay, I don't know if it's my yes. For some reason, the connection is breaking up. I'm not sure if it's on my side or on your side.
I can't hear I can't hear when you talk for some reason, but I can hear when I'm talking. But at any rate, it's just basically, you know, it's like I'm kind of basically the point I want to make is there's a lot of people out there, they have a lot of doubts, and like I said, I've been doing. Like, I just have a little phone, you know, and I'm on YouTube. I don't have anything where I can like and share and do anything like that. It's just pretty much watching these videos, and my Nibiru News live feed popped up, and it was like, oh, cool, go watch. Well, and sometimes when I catch it, it's like not really live. It's like an after broadcast or something, right, or whatever it is.
Yeah, the broadcasts are saved so that they can be viewed afterwards, but for people that were not able to tune into the live broadcast.
Yeah, well, those are the ones I think I've been catching. But anyway, it's like, you know, I'm just learning this, so the only thing I can tell people is know the situation that they're in. Know, like the people in Florida. You know, there's a lot of people who can't leave. They know their environment. They know, you know, how high up the water can come in their particular area, and they prepare for that, or board up their house or whatever if they can't leave. You know, whether it's they're too old or they just don't want to, or they don't have the money to leave. They can't get the gasoline. There is no gas. You know, it's just basically do the survival methods that you can do for the area that you're in. Like me, I can go the 5 miles to our little mountain up here, you know, and try to get up there somewhere along with the other 55,000 people here, and try to get up there and try to find a safe place. But then you get up there, once the dams break and whatever, then you're stuck up there. Because that mountain is pretty much, I mean, you can get down, but it's kind of like you need a horse. You know, if you go up there with a car, you're not going to be able to come be able to come down. You're going to be stuck up there until the water recedes. But then you have the earthquakes, and our mountain has been hit with earthquakes. So then you're up there in the mountains where there's thousands of trees, thousands of rocks. So then you're trying to run from the rocks and whatever, and not fall down a crevasse or crevasse or however you want to say it. But, you know, it's kind of, do you want to go up in the mountains, or do you just want to go high enough not to get washed away, so that you can live in an area where maybe you might be able to move and run or whatever. But it's just, you know, just listen to everything, kind of put yourself in the middle. Like I'm moderately, I've kind of lost my way with the mainstream churches. I'm over the give me the money type thing, but I do believe in Jesus. I don't know exactly who my God is, but anyway, I believe in Jesus. You know, I know kind of sort of that he was here. There's nobody that could have went through what he went through and not been somebody special. But, you know, and you kind of put yourself in the middle. You forget the religion. If you're super uber scientific, or you think you are, put yourself in the middle and just take in all of the information and absorb it, think about it, And then once you start hearing like repetitive, like you get more and more confirmation about certain things, you can't just totally back away from it. You eventually have to start listening.
Right, and I certainly agree with all of those points, to keep an open mind and listen to everything. I don't mean to cut you short. We've been talking for about 10 minutes. That's about as long as I'd like to run the calls. Did you have any closing comments you wanted to make?
No, basically, just listen. Get out there, and like I said, it's on YouTube. And it's not anything that I had intended to run across. It was an accident. But I didn't even know about that. And actually, on the day of the eclipse, I took a picture that I couldn't see with my naked eye because of the eclipse, right? So I put the glasses up over my phone and took a picture. Well, I didn't even see it once it went away, the supposed moon. Once it went away, I didn't even see it. But in my pictures, and it wasn't a lens flare because the lady standing, like 10 feet away from me got the same picture with the same little object in it. And it's like, okay, so somebody is showing me to, like, okay, pay attention. This was there. Even though I couldn't see it.
I don't mean to cut you, but I do have other people trying to dial in. It's not my intention to be rude and cut you off. You're more than welcome to call back on another evening. But when I have callers calling in, I like to be able to keep the calls up to about 10 minutes.
Okay, well, yeah, no problem. But it was nice talking to you. Enjoy your program and just keep doing what you're doing. Awesome.
My pleasure, and I thank you for listening. And I agree with a lot of your points. Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right, let me grab the calls here. We got a few, at least one or two ringing here. Hello and good evening. This is Mike. You are live on Nibiru News. May I have your first name and general location, please?
Hi, Mike. It's Scan Man.
Ah, my good buddy Scan Man. Scan is one of the fantastic 3 mods we have in the channel. Scan Man, Chloe, and Jacqueline X, who I always appreciate being here to keep things calm. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Well, first off, I want to agree with you completely on that statement. The girls are wonderful. Okay, otherwise, a couple of reports for you and a fact. Okay, we'll start off with a sky report today. There was no chemtrailing today. It was a partly cloudy day. And before this rain shower came along, how can I put this? I'm not a weatherman either, The tall clouds were extremely white. We're talking whiter than popcorn. And some of the lower clouds that were no bigger than a car were not black, kind of a silver black, if you will. And it almost looked like a painted sky. It almost didn't look real. I mean, that's the first time I ever noticed these colors before. Okay, that's report number 1. Report number 2, that object I'm watching at the South Pole has gotten out of focus and very bright. So I'm afraid that whatever it is down there, it is getting closer. I hope you brought that to your colleagues' attention.
Oh yeah, I share all the information with the audience.
Okay, great. Okay, now fact. All around here, when you scan a lot of channels, you hear the right thing at the right time. And I've heard during the past month, many police departments sending their officers for special training. I won't go into town names or whatnot, but there's a few locations around. And when I heard that one cop was being sent over 50 miles away, and I know for a fact that this cop has been on for many years, so I don't think he needs much more training, then I hear through the grapevine that it's for riot control. Then I hear that it's for man with a gun. In other words, something's going to happen. People are going to go crazy with guns and whatnot, and they're training for that. That's the fact. And on top of that fact, I would like to add, excuse me, that a lot of unmarked vehicles are appearing everywhere. And I'd like to divulge what they look like, in case people see them and think nothing of them. There's a little more to it than what they think. if you go to the Antenna Farm webpage and you go to the antenna section, the magnet mounts, you'll see the phantom antenna. It is disguised to look like your average internet antenna on a police car, but what it really is either single band or dual band radio. Puts out a good signal. I happen to see a few at work around here. So those shiny cars that just sit there on the side of the road and have those little black hockey puck things on them, those are really
interesting.
I don't want to say feds, but they're up there. That's my fact.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I mean, some kind of law enforcement, that's for sure.
Yeah, so anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm not going to get into anything else. Everybody else wants to get in, I'm sure, but I had to give you my 2 cents as usual.
And please, be sure to link your channel in the chat room so the viewers can go ahead and directly look over to your channel and check out the videos that you've captured.
Good enough, sir.
All right. Appreciate you as always, my friend, and stay safe, and we'll talk again shortly, I'm sure.
You know it.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
All right. Nobody dialing in at the moment. So if you want to come in on the conversation, 518-304-7790. And I have to learn not to leave my door open at night when I'm broadcasting because a skunk just walked in while I was on the call. Thank you for calling. You are live on Nibiru News. May I please have your first name and general location?
Yes, sir. This is Steve from Northeastern America.
Hey, Steve. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good tonight.
Fantastic. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I just wanted to talk about Hurricane Irma a little bit. I'm sure this will be the last time I get to before it actually hits landfall. So thank you for that, for the opportunity to speak. There's been this thing that I found on maps. There's a place, the name of it is called Elbows Clay. If anyone goes on maps and types in a place called Elbows Clay, it's just elongated little stretch of little islands. It looks like Florida Keys a little bit, but it's just natural, elongated islands.
Located where?
And it's underneath of Florida and above Cuba. It's right where Irma is supposed to be, somewhere around the 9th and 10th.
Okay, go ahead. Continue, please.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, please, if anybody is interested in this, it's on maps, regular maps. Anybody has it. And it's a place called Elbows Clay. And when you zoom in real close to see like the color of the sand compared to the ocean, seeing that it's tan or not blue or, ground, when you zoom in, you can see in other places that's close to that looks like ground, draws your attention to it as land and not ocean. But when you look, it's yellow and orange and red under the water. It's fire under the water. There's a fault line, just like there's a fault on up and down north and south in California. There's a fault line up and down north and south in the middle where the Madrid is in the Mississippi, and there's a fault line on the right side of the eastern coast of the United States of America. It goes north and south, up and down, and then it goes down to South America. Well, with the earthquake over there in Mexico, it's pretty much the same, like up and down north and south. But directly east of that, above Cuba, below Florida, west of the Bahamas, east of the Gulf, there's one little triangular, little looking darker, different colored water little spot there. And I'm sure it's been there forever. Basically, I'm calling it an underwater volcano.
Interesting.
And since nobody can get there to see it or scale it or, you know, put it on a scale or in its place for where does it go, is it a, quote, super volcano, nobody will go there to say yes or no, it is or isn't a super volcano. But it's a volcano to me. I mean, it looks like lava. So I don't know if it's part of the methane gas pocket stuff, or if I'm saying, you know, whatever comes out of a volcano, I'm saying, I don't know if it's methane gas or carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide or whatever, but it's this right here is a part of to do with the missing ships and stuff like that, because when it erupts, it'll create bubbles, and then those bubbles, it goes up, has a suction down, and then the ships just suck down and disappear. That's part of the Bermuda Triangle Disappearing Act. This thing has actually pushed the Keys, which used to go north and south. The thing that was special about the Keys was the farthest piece south of the Keys or the farthest piece south of Florida. It used to go down towards Cuba. Now the Keys pretty much goes east to west, and the farthest point south of Florida is no longer the ending point of the Keys, because it's actually more northern than the southern position when you're like three-quarters of the way there. So this thing has already pushed the Keys into the Gulf. It really is there. It really does exist. If you zoom in far enough, you can see the fire in the ocean, and this hurricane. So it's there all the time. But when has a Category 4 or possible Category 5 ever went over top of it? Is the question.
1992.
So that would be, and just the same, what would be the condition of the Earth or that volcano or whatever fault that it is in 1992 compared to 25 years later, and or the effects of Nibiru, and or the size of this monster? Because I don't know which one it was in 92, but a lot of these storms this thing, you know, you could probably put two Andrews in this storm.
Yeah,
so I'm not trying
to. This storm is, I think, 575 miles across, where Andrew is about half of that diameter. So yes, it is what you said, a monster.
So yeah, I'm not trying to take away from Andrew. I would never do anything like that. I'm worried and concerned that on top of this monster, on top of other things that's coming after it, on top of the earthquake that was yesterday, that there's 80,000 people in the Keys. 30,000 have evacuated. 50,000 people chose to stay across that bridge on them islands. That if this makes a direct landfall, where it just made a direct landfall, it had destroyed 90 to 95% of structures.
Yeah.
And so if this does that to that bridge or those islands, there's 50,000 people there that they don't want to leave. And so I'm just worried. What is the effects that it's going to be? Because look, one of the things said, first of all, the same way they play down the scales on earthquakes, they always play down the scales on a hurricane. Now, if it was going to be a 5.55 and hit Cuba, would it still be a 5 before it hit Cuba? But if it's going to be a 5.55 before it hits America, no, it's going to be 4 just before landfall. Well, I don't care. That's just insane, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, there's one spot that's there, that little triangle I'm talking about on maps, so you can see it. If you look at that triangle and go to the left corner of it and look at the farthest left spot of that little triangle, you can see this fault line in this magma and lava and stuff in the ocean that I'm talking about. And it's directly pretty much north and south, the same height and level as the volcano that just went off in Mexico. It's just east of it. So, I think it has a lot to do with water weight, and where water gets dumped and where water remains, the stuff that happened in Houston, and then you got this one little Katya that's down there. It's having an effect with all the rain, and it's dumping weight, and it created the earthquake. Now, if this one dumps some rain, and it's talking about 32 to 36 foot waves hitting Miami, so I'm considering that 16 to 18 foot remaining still water. Now, Florida is level with the sea. It is 10 foot above sea level with the sea, and it is also 10 foot below the sea level of the sea. So depending on where you are, you're going to get like 8 foot to, 38 foot. Now, Florida doesn't have the second story typically. There's condos, there's big bad places, there's multi-million-dollar places, all kinds of places, let's say. Typically, They're just ranch-style homes, one-level homes. You know, there's no basements. It's one level. You know, a lot of the residents in Florida are trailers, you know. I had a trailer down there. It's still there. It's still mine. I still own it. I'm not there. I wasn't waiting for this. My house is going to get completely destroyed in this. No, it's not a house. Yes, it's a trailer. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom trailer. It's titled to me. I own it. I possess it. I'm proud of it. But I left it. I left my life to save my life. You know what I'm saying? If I would have tried to save my life, I would have lost my life. My worry is this. Where they're showing this one spot in between Cuba and Florida, they're showing it heat, they're showing it pick up power, and it does that because it goes into some of the warmest waters on the planet. Okay, right. Well, why is it some of the warmest waters? Well, you tell me. There's a freaking volcano underneath it.
Makes sense to me.
So it scares me. It scares me. I want people to be aware of it. Check it out on maps if you can. If you're in the Keys, please just leave. And my God, I don't even know what else to say. Yeah. Thank you again for the time just to speak anything.
All right, Stephen, anytime. You have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bless you. Bye.
Thanks. I haven't checked the figures for myself, but I have no reason to disbelieve Stephen regarding how many people are remaining in the Keys. If 50,000 people have stayed behind, a lot of people are going to be in for a very, very rough ride when Irma strikes them. And a strike on the Keys looks pretty much like a certainty, at least as of right now. And as time goes on, these models are coming more into agreement. All right. No one dialing in here. If you want to call in, 518-304-7790, or the Skype address at the bottom of the screen. Please pardon me my cough. I've been drinking tea with honey and chugging down codeine-laced cough syrup to try and get this to break. And just an interesting side note, I have a friend on the west coast of Florida, lives in an apartment, told me that he went to go to tape up his windows and was told that doing so was a violation of his lease by the apartment complex. Hang on just 1 second. Let me finish my thought, and then I'll talk to you. So I had a friend that has lived in an apartment complex in Florida, went to tape up his windows, was told by the manager that it was a breach of lease if he did that, because it claimed it was altering the property. How crazy is that? Thank you for your patience, caller. Can I have your name and general location, please?
My name is Tim, Buffalo, New York.
Tim in Buffalo. Are you a first-time caller?
Yes, I am, Mike. I just want to say, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, please go ahead.
No, I appreciate everything you do, and I think I speak for a lot of people. You know, prayers are going out for you, and I highly appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm calling, about, when you look at some of the sites, and you can't always believe what you see or what you read, you just take all in the information like people have been saying. But I was checking out a site last night, and there's a live broadcast on Yellowstone. And his name is Chris Abergast, and he's monitoring Yellowstone, and he's got some kind of seismic computer program that he does, and I just started watching it, so I don't know all the details about it. But he did have something interesting, and it was he was getting a reading of like a 2.0, and it was a continuous harmonic reading was what he was calling it. And he was saying something big is going to be coming, something big is going to be coming. I'll be damned if I didn't go to sleep and wake up around 5:30 this morning and I found out there was an 8 whatever in Mexico. So he knew something was coming.
Apparently so.
And what really scared, and what scares me is that he's calling for something to happen at Yellowstone. Now he pegged this one. I don't know if he said where it was going to be because I went to sleep and I didn't do the research because I worked all day, And it just blows my mind that he called a big one and it happened. And with all the stuff going on, with 3 hurricanes going on, and you got earthquakes and, volcanoes active, I think we're in for some trying times, Mike, and I'm just trying to get your opinion. I know part of your opinion, but just trying to divulge deeper into it,
Well, my opinion is that I agree that we are in trying times right now. The conditions of our planet are not getting any better. Things are continually changing for the worse regarding our climate. As I've expressed, I believe that the planetary system out there is responsible for parts of the climate change we're experiencing. I'm not saying all of it, but it certainly isn't helping the situation, and I believe that as time progresses, we are going to see more and more of these strong storms. That the waters are warmer, they're warmer deeper, they're staying warmer for longer periods of the year, providing these storms fuel. But we're also not talking just about hurricanes. I believe that the other weather events like tornadoes, snowstorms, etc., are all going to increase in strength and frequency as time goes on.
No, I totally believe that. We just had 2 tornadoes in our area not too long ago, and that's pretty odd for this area. There's no question about it. Another thing is my brother lives in Titusville. Now, he opted to stay there because he didn't want to get caught and try to pack up the family and get caught in the car. He told me that 95 and 75 were bumper to bumper, and that worries me. You know, people, you know, don't have that kind of access. When you got thousands and thousands of people trying to leave and just get to I can't even imagine trying to get into a gas station with that kind of traffic on it. It just blows my mind. I would be worried about getting caught on the side of the road. And that was his main concern about leaving. So he opted to hunker down, board up the house, and ride it out.
Well, I will certainly hope the best for him.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And again, like I think I speak for a lot of people in this chat room, we really appreciate what you're doing, and keep up the good work, and God bless you.
Thanks. And like I always say, I'm just a vessel that helps to communicate the information. Without everybody out there, without all of you listeners, this wouldn't work, this wouldn't exist. You know, together we are sort of a family, a community, trying to put pieces of a puzzle together.
Oh, you're absolutely right, man. And you take care of yourself. And again, I appreciate what you do, buddy. You hang in there.
All right, you take care too, and thanks a lot, Tim.
Okay, God bless.
Okay, let's see if anyone's dialing in here. No calls coming in at the moment. Going to be going for a few more minutes here. So if you want to dial in, 518-304-7790 or the Skype address at the bottom of the screen. Interestingly enough, I thought when I started doing this that most people would be contacting me via Skype username, but nope, most people dial in from their phones, which is fine. All right, we're going to be here for another 10 minutes. If anybody wants to call in, now is the time. Going once, going twice, area code 518-304-7790. All right. Well, it looks like there are no more callers coming in tonight. I guess everybody out there has expressed what they needed or wanted to express, which is fine. So, I just want to close on one note. Over the last 18 months, I have been working on a book. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, like others, I am not doing this peddling books to make money. For the book is entitled The Nibiru Wars, and it will be different than what most people expect. It is essentially a culmination of everything that I have learned since I started investigating this topic back in 2003. And I'm going to take the call, then I'll finish my thoughts. Hi, thank you very much for dialing in. This is Mike. You are live on Nibiru News. May I please have your first name and general location?
Hi, this is Susan. I'm in Venice, Florida.
Susan,
yes. I wanted to give you a little tip for the animals for the hurricane. Like, we're boarded up and we're staying home. And a woman posted an article last night, and we did it today, and it works perfect for the pets. My husband went out this morning and got 4 pieces of sod, and we laid it on a big plastic tablecloth, and we took the little doggy out on his leash. You know, we didn't go out, because during the storm you can't if it's going for 2 days, so you can put it in your garage, or like we did, we put it in the enclosed shutter room. And the doggy knew instantly where to go.
And
It was only $7 for 4 pieces of sod, and it was a perfect pet area to keep the pet safe during the storm.
Definitely. And, I'm sorry, your name again was, your first name?
Susan.
Susan, thank you. And I agree with
I'm
you.
a regular. I love the show. I'm a regular.
And as everybody out there knows, I am a huge pet lover and animal rights activist. And it pains me when these storms happen, like with Katrina and now Harvey, that so many pets get separated from their owners and from their family. So I agree. I mean, people really do need to make the effort to ensure that their pets and their family members are kept safe as well, because we don't need thousands upon thousands of wayward animals wandering the streets looking for their owners. So I agree with you, and that's great that you found a way to keep your pup safe.
I would never leave this little dog.
Right.
They would have to kill me before they'd get the little dog. All right. Thank you so much for the good show.
My pleasure. Always happy to have you dial in, and you have a great evening, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. And as I was talking about, the book I'm writing, The Nibiru Wars, is essentially the culmination of everything I have learned since I started investigating and researching this topic back in 2003. The information will date back to approximately 1983 and go forward with everything I've gleaned since that time. I'm about 75% of the way through with it right now. It's not a picture book. It's not filled with charts and diagrams, graphs, or nice color plates. It is a pure textual book, approximately 550 pages, and it covers up mostly information from a scientific and what's the word I'm looking for, political aspect, covering everything I've gleaned about how the governments across the world have conspired to keep the truth from us about Nibiru. And so when I am done, I am going to make it freely available on a digital edition. I'll put the book on my server so people can download it in EPUB format and take a look at it. I also do plan to have hard copies run on it, and if anyone wants a hard copy, I would only charge the cost of the book, the shipping cost. I probably had to have that done through Amazon, and a nominal small fee in addition to that. But that's about it. In any event, I'm going to bring this to a close now. I'm going to go to sleep, try and rest my voice, and hope my throat clears up. Now my mind is all messed. When the hurricane comes in on Sunday, I might activate a live stream so we can talk about it as things are happening in real time. I'm not sure yet. I'll put out a notice if I'm able to do that. All right, I'm going to take this last call. Last caller of the evening. You are live on Nibiru News. This is Mike. May I have your first name, please?
Mike, my name is Howard, and I'm here in the Gulf Shores, Alabama area, just the west of the hurricane, so I should be clear of that at least.
Well, let's hope so, Howard. What would you like to talk about tonight?
I was wondering, what do you think all the talk about North Korea and what we're possibly planning on doing there versus is this just a cover to help hide Nibiru?
Do I think... it's very complicated. I believe that North Korea is a distraction. Whether it's a manufactured distraction or an incidental distraction, I am not sure. I don't believe the whole thing with North Korea has been devised to take attention or focus away from Nibiru. And my reason for saying this is that 99% of the people in the world never heard of Nibiru. 1% has. We are a big minority. And the government really doesn't care what our little 1% says, because they can write us off as kooks. So I don't think that North Korea is a distraction. Right now, my view is nothing's going to happen with this. History says that Kim Jong-un and his father before him always backed down at the end. I believe that trend will likely continue. I do not think that we're going to attack North Korea anytime in the immediate future. That's my opinion.
All right. It's even like the hurricane. I mean, all that you have on all your news channels right now is Irma. That's all they're talking about. You don't find any other news. You don't find out anything else that's going on in the world. You don't hear about any of the astronomers that are talking about Nibiru. If the only way you find out is if you look at alternate news.
Alternate media. That's the only way to get this information. Absolutely.
And you know, it's a shame that there's such a cover-up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best and also the worst cover-up in the history of humanity, because they managed to keep the secret from many people, but at the same time, information has leaked to people that are willing to open their eyes, explore the topic, and listen to the information on the topic.
Very true. I agree with you on that 100%. All right, well, I just wanted to just run a quick thing by you like that about North Korea and even what's going on over in the Middle East. Because, like I say, it just seems that there's very little news coming out of really what's going on in the world. Most of it is just like what you see here on in the country. What they call world news isn't world news.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I do not read any of the mainstream newspapers, CNN. Sometimes I'll listen to Fox a little bit, but I don't give much credence to what they say. I mean, I will trust RT, for example, over anything the Washington Times says any day of the week.
No, I follow you on that. I follow that, and I also follow the BP Earth Watch and things like that. That tells you a lot more about what's going on and what's happening to this world. All right. Well, I thank you for your time, and you have a good evening, and God bless you, and be safe.
The same to you. Best of luck to you. I hope the storm doesn't come your way. Thank you for dialing in tonight.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. I appreciate that. And just to go out, I'm going to go ahead and put that little video of my cooking and nasty meow on as I close out the evening. I hope all of you have
All right, so you guys want to see how Mike cooks in the summer? No, contrary to other opinions, he doesn't live in a fancy apartment and just walks out to the woods. He has a nice open fire here, made of bricks, burning firewood, pot of rice, a nice plate of homemade beef stew with peas, olive oil, and the etceteras. And it's probably too bright for this to even pick up, so I don't know. But yeah, my little homemade fire pit out here, where I cook my outdoor meals in the summer. And early fall, of course, it's getting too, come here, nasty, meow. Getting too, it's gonna be too chilly soon to do this, so I will be cooking on the wood stove indoors very soon. And yes, I do use propane as a backup. I have a four burner propane stovetop that I use in emergency, you know. Otherwise, I rely on wood. And here is Nasty Meow. Nasty, yeah, and you see he's uncooperative. And he's also curious. Nasty, meow meow. How about Nasty? Nasty, yeah. He wants attention right now. He's not hungry. He has constant access to food, so I don't know what's going on with him. You're a good boy, yes. And this, right here, is my last surviving rooster. In fact, my last chicken right now. I got to get new hens. They've all been picked off. But miraculously, this guy has survived, where 2 other roosters and 10 hens have been picked off. And of course, Nasty wants attention. Nasty wants to be the center of attention, as always, right?